Hey loved ones, good morning. This is Addison Magno, Sales Manager of Robinson's Land Corporation. On this episode right now, we're going to talk about protecting your real estate investment here in the Philippines and how to choose your seller wisely. So let's get started. But first things first, I want to make an example. Let's just say, for example, you've already spoken to a real estate seller here in the Philippines. He showed you the property. He showed you the return of investment. You like the numbers. You're ready to sign the paper immediately. It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win situation. For example, the rental yield is like 15% and above. It's just like a deal of a lifetime that you just can't refuse, and you're ready to sign the paper. Don't. You might want to do a background check first for that specific real estate person that you're doing business with, in order for you to protect yourself, because there's a lot of misrepresentations and false advertisements and frauds, and there's a lot of them that exist, not just here in the Philippines but in the whole world. So I suggest that's what you should do. It's called, always ask for the HLURB number, Housing Land Use Regulatory Board. You should ask for that, and they should provide that, and you can check that background in the system to see if it's a legitimate licensed real estate seller. Because Presidential Decree 957, that law had passed on July 12, 1976. That law specifically is to protect all the buyers that's interested in investing in real estate here in the Philippines. So the seller can get in trouble. They can even go to prison if they're committing fraud. So that's how serious it is. They can get fined for hundreds of thousands of pesos or go to prison with that law that had passed. So there you go. That's really what I wanted to say. But to give it more of a point, I would like to share my personal experience with this. This happened to us, to my father, that has a cool property right there in Tagaytay, and he has this foreigner friend that he trusted, and trusted him to find a renter for his house. And sure enough, that foreigner friend that he had found another foreigner, expatriate, Caucasian male that has a Filipino wife that just wants to retire here in the Philippines and live a peaceful life and think of nothing, man, and enjoy the fine weather of Tagaytay. To those who don't know, Tagaytay is one of the best weather here in the Philippines. So there you go. My father's friend, the foreigner guy that he trusted to rent his house, was actually a fraud. He lied to the couple, to the expat and his Filipino wife, and pretended that he owned the house himself. So he convinced those two persons to buy the house and showed some fraud papers, or made it seem everything legit, showed those papers, and pretty much sold the house. Convinced the expat to come out to pocket 5 million pesos in cash to buy that house. So the whole time, by the way, that foreigner guy, the guy that my father trusted to be his friend, he's already victimized a lot of people, and he got away. Is nowhere to be found. So the real victim here is the expat guy and his other victims. And but long story short, that expat guy ended up victimizing my dad by taking everything that was inside the house, cleaned it up, and took as much as he can and left the property without saying goodbye, pretty much stole our property. So we ended up becoming a victim of that too. You see how that goes? So this is a true story. Things like this really do happen. That's why I want to warn all real estate investors to do a background check on who you're talking first. In order for you to get a HLURB here in the Philippines, you have to have at least, you have to acquire a PRC ID. PRC ID, it stands for Professional Regulation Commission. And before you get to have that ID, the PRC ID, you also have to have some kind of college background. It doesn't matter where you finished, you got your college degree from, whether it's from a community college or Stanford University. As long as you can have show some proof that you have college degree, you can apply for the PRC, and using that PRC ID, you can apply for the HLURB ID. So that's how you do the background check. And if you didn't finish a 4-year bachelor degree college, you can still apply under a broker that had at least the minimum of bachelor's degree. In order for you to be a licensed, to be a legitimate licensed real estate seller here in the Philippines. Otherwise, you will and you can go to prison if caught selling properties without a license. That's just how simple it is. The reason why I'm saying this, because I noticed a lot of misrepresentation and false advertisement, and this is what I want to avoid in our channel and my team, because right here we're not looking for short-term service. We're looking for long-term service for as long as possible, you know. So this is why we believe sincerity, integrity and sincerity equals good service. You know what I mean? My team right here, this is how we do, and we're gonna show how we're different from the rest of the team. So there it is. Thank you for watching this episode right now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or hit us up directly. And let us know also, we're available. If you're interested, we can set up webinars. We can answer all your questions when it comes to real estate investment here in the Philippines. So once again, this is Addison Magno, Sales Manager of Robinson's Land Corporation. See you soon. Till next time.